February 1959. 9 experienced hikers enter the Ural Mountains. None come out alive. Their tent is found cut open from the inside. Some fled barefoot into 30°C darkness. One woman was missing her tongue. 2 had internal injuries a doctor compared to a car crash, with no external wounds to explain them. The official Soviet verdict: death by an unknown compelling force. 65 years later, that's still the most honest answer anyone has given. This wasn't a group of amateurs who wandered into trouble. All 9 were students or graduates of the Ural Polytechnic Institute. The leader, Igor Dyatlov, was 23 years old and had already led multiple successful expeditions through terrain just as demanding. One member, Semyon Zolotaryov, was 38, a war veteran and an experienced mountaineering instructor who had specifically requested to join this trip. These were people who knew how to read weather, manage cold, and make good decisions, which makes every decision they made that night impossible. They set out on January 23rd, heading for a peak called Otorten. It was a grade 3 route, the highest difficulty classification. The group even ran a jokey internal newsletter called Evening Otorten. On February 1st, they made camp on the slope of Kholat Shakal. In the indigenous Mansi language, that name translates roughly to Dead Mountain. Their final diary entries described normal progress. No sign of fear. The group was due back by February 12th. When they didn't arrive, a search party was dispatched. They found the abandoned campsite on February 26th. The tent was partially collapsed. It had been cut open from the inside. Footprints showed the group had walked downhill toward the tree line, in socks, bare feet, or a single boot, in temperatures around 30°C. The first 2 bodies were found at the edge of a cedar tree. Their hands were burned. They had been trying to start a fire. They had climbed the tree, breaking off high branches, suggesting they were trying to see something or escape something above ground level. 3 more were found between the tree and the tent, apparently trying to return. They had died of hypothermia. Months later, the final 4 were recovered from a ravine. This group was better dressed, wearing clothing taken from those who had already died. But 2 of them had catastrophic internal injuries: crushed ribs, a fractured skull, no bruising, no external wounds. When clothing was later tested, it showed elevated levels of beta radiation. No nuclear facility was officially located in the area. No single theory explains every piece of evidence. The most scientifically credible explanation is a slab avalanche. The problem: experienced investigators found no avalanche debris, and the footprints leading away were orderly, not panicked. Some researchers believe they encountered a secret weapons test. Several witnesses reported seeing glowing orbs in the sky that winter. The Soviet government sealed the case files for decades. That alone has kept this theory alive. Russia officially reopened the case in 2019. The conclusion was a katabatic avalanche combined with low visibility. But gaps remain. The radiation and the pattern of injuries still suggest 2 very different sequences of events. 9 hikers abandoned their shelter voluntarily in lethal cold. Something was more dangerous than 30°C with no boots. What happened on the night of February 1st, 1959, has never been conclusively established. The site is now named Dyatlov Pass. Somewhere in that evidence, the answer might already exist. No one has found it yet. If you want more real mysteries like this, subscribe, because some stories don't stay buried.